Reviving the Vedic Culture of Yajna by Dr. Pramabhai Pandya, disciple of Pandit Sri Ram Sharma Acharyaji. Audio 2. The meaning of Yajna. In its gross form, Yajna is a spiritual experiment of sacrificing and sublimating the Havan Samagri in the Yajna Agni with chanting of Vedic mantras. This is only the physical process or ritual of Yajna, which has scientific importance and beneficial effects. This Agni Yajna, when performed at small scale, is also known as Havan, Homam or Agnihotra. However, the meaning of Yajna is not confined to this sacrificial fire process. It has much wider and deeper meaning. Linguistically, the word Yajna is derived from the Sanskrit verb yaj, which means Dev Pujan, worshipping divinity. Sangatikara, harmonious association, and Dan, charity. Spiritual implications of these are Dev Pujan, meaning recognition, respect, consecration in the individual self, and expansion of the divine virtues. Sangatikara means coherent conjunction of the thoughts and deeds with the divine disciplines. Dan, meaning donation, sacrifice of one's talents and resources for divine causes and noble purposes. In terms of psychology, the above meanings correspond respectively to the positive attitude of excellence, respect, cooperation, and altruist service. In behavioral sense, honoring the elders is equivalent to Dev Pujan. Constructive collaboration and amity with colleagues and fellows of same age groups is Sangatikara, and generous help for the progress of the youngsters and the downtrodden is Dan. All efforts of selfless service, constructive contributions in noble missions and cooperation of virtuous personalities are Yajna. Sincere endeavors of divine worship, self-refinement and virtuous development are also glorious Yajnas in human life. The rituals of Devavahan, invocation, Dev Pujan, worship and ahutis in the physical process of Yajna also involve the above aspects of Yajna. Invocation and worship of divine powers is performed by collective chanting of specific Vedic mantras in specific rhythm. Yajna is performed collectively right from the initial preparation to sacrificing the ahutis and arti. This is the best example of cooperation. The altruist effect of Yajna is most prominent, as also implied in the chanting of Idam Namama after each ahuti. The Havan Samagri sacrificed as ahutis in Yajna Agni sublimates and expands in open space, energized by the sonic power of the mantras, and enshowers multiple benefits in terms of purification of environment, soothing medicinal effects of the herbs, and psychological strengthening. Some special ahutis of dry fruits, homemade sweets, and or fresh grains also cause positive effects of vigorous health. More importantly, these account for the fact that we should donate our resources, wealth, and potentials for expanded effects rather than storing them for selfish motives and luxuries. The feeling of Idam Namama, this is not mine, is indeed the root of happy progress of any society. It teaches that all the materialistic resources, power, and honor available to one are directly or indirectly earned with the help of the society. The talents, education, sagacity, etc., too, are also not attainable without thy grace. These should therefore be applied constructively for the betterment of society of all beings. The central theme of Yajna that should be well understood and adopted by all of us could be summarized as voluntary renunciation of self-centered, possessive and greedy tendencies and adoption of a wider attitude, observance of the sadhana of divine love and altruism. The teaching of Yajna signifies that true progress and happiness of the individual self lies in that of the society. In essence, Yajna means virtuous actions inspired by altruist objectives. Vision, courage, and sentiment of keeping the least for self-joy and sharing the maximum possible for the welfare of the society as a whole is the core of performing Yajna and adopting its philosophy in human life. Yajna is the axis of the cycle of nature. Yajna is pivotal in the existence and sustenance of the cycle of nature. Thy creation of nature is an eternal Yajna. It is the genesis of the flourishing manifestation of nature. The sentiment of Yajna indwells in the ecological balance and harmonious activities of nature. The creation of all that exists in the visible and the invisible folds of nature is thoroughly discussed in Srimad Bhagavad. Lord Krishna describes in the Holy Gita that the nature is born out of Yajna and exists only by the motivating force of Yajna. God is described here as the supreme exponent of Yajna. The continuum of Yajna is the nucleus of continuous activities in the world and the cosmic expansion. The oceans, the seas generously donate from their repository of water. Clouds formed by vaporization of the seawater carry it across the globe and ensure the drizzles of rainwater, which, flowing through the rivers, goes along fulfilling the thirst of soil, plants, trees, and all beings, and reaches back in the sea. This is a cycle of natural Yajna. The trees, plants, the entire vegetation willingly offer the fruits, flowers, and grain crops to all without any discrimination. The non-stop motion of the sun, the moon, the earth, and the countless numbers of other planets and stars, the continuous flow of the rivers, the wind, etc., are all there for others' benefits. The synchronized network of body functions is a vivid Yajna. The sustenance of life too is based on Yajna. The child is born in a helpless condition. It is the intrinsic impulse of Yajna in the mother's heart that enables his growth under the affectionate protection. How would the birth of her baby be possible if she does not sacrifice a portion of her flesh and blood to the fetus? The sustenance of his life would be impossible if she does not offer him breastfeeding, squeeze out the vital strength of her own body, or refuses to bear the burden of fostering him. The selflessness of motherly love, its sacrifices and support is the basis of healthy growth and ideal development of the child. The same is true of the other facets in the gamut of life. It is why the notion of Yajna is said to be crucial in the generation and regulation of life. Lord Krishna explains this fact in Gita as the eternal creator Prajapati Brahma gave rise to Yajna as the twin associate of human life, so that both the human being and Yajna could survive and grow with mutual support. The ascent of men could emerge because of the motivating sentiment of Yajna eminent in his collective existence and social development. If men had forbidden or neglected the inspirations and adoption of Yajna and instead given prominence to narrow-minded, self-obsessive philosophy of life, his existence would have been wiped out long ago. Even today, in the unsafe world of all-round terrors, tensions, and misdeeds, all the hopes of peace, protection, and progress towards bright future relies solely on the resurrection of the divine culture of Yajna. The development of the individuals is not isolated from that of the society. Mutual respect, harmony, and association, all expressions of the divine sentiment of Yajna, are inevitable in the ascent of personal, professional, and social life. The collective existence of the planets, the galaxies in the ever-expanding universe is not a random consequence of cosmic force of attraction. Rather, it is a colossal web of exchange and sharing which abides them in the consistent motion. The perennial cycle of nature is revolving around the axis of Yajna. Without this foundation, all the order, beauty, and the growth would have turned into chaos, deformity, and calamities. The Upanishads rightly elucidate it as Yajna is the core of nature. As a cart cannot move forward without its pivot, the progressive flow of life, development, and rise of the individuals and the society, an evolutionary cycle too cannot proceed without the axis of Yajna.